There's something about walking a ball, coming down that runway, being on the stage, couple thousand people cheering and ratifying what you're doing right there at that moment.
Yeah, I remember right before I walked the category, it was women's performance, and there was a lot of girls. I was so nervous, I was like shaking. I remember I like closed my eyes and I was like praying. I was like praying to Pepper LaBaija and I was praying to Crystal LaBaija and I was like, just let me do right by your house, let me do right by this name. And I went out and that was it. Yeah. It was like the lights were on me and that was it. I was here. Right. You know, I was like, I have arrived. Yeah. And in my show, I'm exploring like what it's been like growing up with HIV, what it's been like to grow up with my mother who was an activist, and also to find my voice in Ballroom and the people that I met in Ballroom.
My story's a little different because when I won't say, I don't like to say coming out. I want to say when I discovered myself, you know, because I don't believe in coming out. I don't believe I have to make an announcement to anybody. It was when I really was, you know, embracing being like a club kid and experimenting. I didn't want to look like everybody else. I just wanted to come out of the door and everybody stopping. There's something magnetic about, you know, having an individual look and people stopping and staring at you, going, okay, you know, what's going on with this, and looking at you and wanting to take a picture with you and stuff. Exactly. But a big turning point of who Lee Souja is today began because of HIV and AIDS and nightlife and people disappearing out of Ballroom.
Sometimes you have to, I don't want to say prioritize, but you need to figure out where your heart is. And I think my heart was with a lot of people in the House of LaBaija who are not with us anymore.
Yeah. I think sometimes we tend to normalize death in this community because we face it so much. Yeah. We go through it, and not just as a Ballroom community, but as an LGBT community in general, seeing, you know, people passing from HIV, substance abuse, suicide, and now we're, you know, dealing with this pandemic, so.
I don't know, I feel like we don't give ourselves enough time to grieve, you know?
Yeah.
It's like someone goes and then there's another function or there's something going on, you know? It's like, when do we spend the time together to, you know, honor those who have gone? And I feel like, you know, since I entered Ballroom and made all these beautiful connections, I've also lost so many of them so quickly. I think that's been really hard to deal with, especially for me because, you know, my mother died from AIDS-related complications when I was 14. And so for me, having, you know, extra family in my space was this amazing thing, but to also lose so much so quick was like, oh God, it feels like it's happening over and over and over again.
Today, doing community work is a big part of who I am. Mentoring young people, running the NYC Center for Black Pride, running Black Gay Pride means a lot to me to really create safe spaces for our community and to tell a little piece of our history because our history is not taught. Now we want to start to see ourselves show up in places that matter for us, right? We want to be able to go to museums and see images and hear stories of people that look like us. We want to be able to go to the library and find books and hear stories of people that look like us.
I think that's what makes our community so beautiful. That's what makes when we dance and when we create things so powerful, is because the resilience and the survival, you know, and our stories, you know, our stories are so important.
It shows up in our art. It shows up in when we walk the runway, even when we're voguing. Like, we bring it to the floor. Yeah. We bring it all out, so.